This pattern played me, y'all. This pattern played me. Totally deceived me. Hello everyone. In today's episode of Elevate with Ankara, I will be revealing the pants that I made, and I will also share my little rant about how this pattern played me and was totally not what I thought it was going to be. So if you would like to see and hear all about this project, please continue to watch. Hello friends, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel, and welcome to the 7th episode of Elevate with Ankara that is being hosted by myself and Sheree of Sheree Thomas. My name is Talisha, and I also go by CreativiTeeByT, and if you're new to watching the channel, I welcome you and I hope you consider subscribing, and thank you to all of my returning subscribers for coming back and for your continued support. So as previously mentioned, this is the 7th episode of Elevate with Ankara. If you don't know anything about this series, this is a series that Sheree of Sheree Thomas and I have on our channels, and we are showcasing Ankara fabrics. Each episode has a different theme and or an interview, along with showcasing how we are elevating our makes with Ankara. When we make a garment, there will be a detailed pattern review on our channels of the patterns that we make. And for today's episode, Sheree and I both made pants that we have elevated with Ankara fabric, and that is what we will be sharing with you today. So please make sure that you head over to Sheree's channel after you watch this video so that you can see how she elevated her pants and which pattern she used, because we did use different patterns. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this video. Whenever Sheree and I plan our makes, we make a preview video and we showcase different patterns that we may use and why. 2 weeks ago, when I made the pants preview video, I showcased 6 different patterns and I gave examples as to how I would elevate them with Ankara fabric. And then after that, I usually just pick one of those patterns that I showed to make the actual garment. Well, I did that this time with the pants, of course. I looked at the pattern and looked at all the details, and I thought I had a nice concrete plan to create the look that I wanted. But this pattern played me, y'all. This pattern played me. This pattern and the details that I thought I would have totally deceived me, okay? Now, I don't hate the pattern. It's actually a good pattern. And I do love my pants, but it's not the vision that I had. And sometimes I will get stuck on the vision that I had because I don't have a visual as to how it's going to turn out as I'm making that particular garment. So yeah, but even though it came out different, it still came out great overall. But I will go ahead and talk about the pattern in full details so that you can understand why I felt that way. So when I shared 6 different patterns that I decided to pick from to make the pants for today's episode, I went ahead and went with a Simplicity 9236 because I liked the pleats at the bottom. I love the leg cuffs and the patch pockets, or what I thought were patch pockets. And I thought it would be perfect for pairing them with this gorgeous Ankara fabric that I used, that I absolutely loved. And I was going to mix Ankara fabric for what I thought were patch pockets by using a different Ankara print and have them match up with that same print on the cuff. So the patch pockets and the cuff are going to be different prints than what the print is here now. Well, that didn't work out because these are not patch pockets. If you have never made pockets the way this pattern explains, you may have had the same perception from the line art, but that is the reason why I went with this pattern, although I didn't get the results that I wanted. But like I said, I'll talk in full detail about that and another thing that I feel like is a major issue with this pattern as it comes up in the review. And if you plan on making this pattern, you definitely want to hear this information because it's just good to know. Like I said, it's not a bad pattern, but it's good to know. So I made Simplicity 9236 and the pattern description is Mrs. Pants. There is an option for a short on this pattern though, even though it doesn't say that on the description, so it really should say Mrs. Pant in short. There are 3 views to this pattern, and the view that I made is view C, which has the pleats at the bottom that I explained earlier in a leg cuff. View A is a semi-wide leg, and it's basic. It has your band and just your wide leg. And view C is the shorts, okay? The fabric recommendations are going to be your lightweight denim, linen, microfiber, poplin, silky types, and soft cotton. The fabric that I use is this beautiful Ankara fabric that feels absolutely gorgeous. Sometimes I'll get like an Ankara fabric that is not so soft and not so thick, but this is the premium Ankara fabric that I absolutely love. Okay, the skill level is noted as average, and I would say that the rating is appropriate because of the way that the pockets are to be installed. I personally have never installed pockets like this before. It was easy but a bit cumbersome, and if I had known that it was still going to be like an inseam type of pocket at the end, I would have just installed it the normal way to save some time. But I will go ahead and just kind of like show you some clips of how the installation went so that you can understand. Okay, so to form this style of pocket, there are 2 dots on your edge, so on your raw edge I should say. So here's a dot on the pocket to show there's the other dot, and that's where these meet up. So you're gonna stitch a straight line from one dot to the next, and you're gonna reinforce by back stitching on the dots. And then once you have stitched, you're gonna clip to the dots, which is what this is here. I clip to this dot here, and I clip to this dot here. So then you'll turn it to the back side so that you can create a narrow hem. And that is what this is. This is your narrow hem. So then it tells you to place the pocket down on the pant piece with the dots matching. So it's basically just lining it up from the top to the bottom, and then you're going to pin where there is no narrow hem and stitch it together. And so this is pretty much what it looks like when you pin it together. And then I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down. So after you complete the narrow hem here, and it's time to stitch the leg sides together, which this piece of the fabric, which is the pocket showing, the right side of the pocket, it is actually supposed to be right side up, so that this portion can stick out. Because what you're going to do is just put the other pant leg piece on top, and you're going to stitch all the way down, no opening, at a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. At the end of the day, you're still getting an inseam pocket. It's just that you're going to get this top stitching detail over here and some top stitching detail on the top of your fabric. I'm using Ankara fabric, so you really cannot see my top stitching. Now, the only reason why someone I think would benefit from this style of pocket would be if you wanted to like showcase this top stitching, and that is what tripped me up about this pattern. I thought that the top stitching on the line art was indicated that it was a patch pocket, okay, outside of the main fabric. Now, if you look very hard at the back, you can see like the little markings for pockets, but I thought that the pocket was stitched on top of the pant pattern piece with a design for an opening on the side to put your hand in. I had no clue that this was an inseam pocket, and after I made the pants, I called a couple of my sewing friends and asked them to look at the pattern cover and line drawings, and I asked them what type of pocket that they thought it was, and they also said a patch pocket. So yes, I was a little disappointed in that because I wanted to use a different Ankara print to contrast between the main fabric. It didn't happen, and I did top stitch my pockets down, but because this is Ankara fabric with bold colors and large prints, you can't see them. Like, I have 2 stitchings of black thread and you can't see them, which is why I frequently say that I stick to simple lines when sewing with Ankara, because you're generally not going to see those details because of the larger prints and designs in the fabric, because the fabric steals the show. Now, going back to the pockets though, although it's cumbersome and I would have normally just gone with the inseam pocket, I will say that it does have a cleaner look to it overall because they are stitched down. So there's no floppy pocket bag hanging inside of your pants. They're stitched down, so when you wash them and you go to iron them, you don't have to like make sure you straighten it out or iron them separately so that there's no bulkiness and wrinkles underneath. It is a cleaner finish. However, I don't mind making sure that I iron down my pocket bags. I would have, like I said, gone with the other look, but it is what it is. As far as your notions, you will need thread and elastic because there is an elasticated band. For the sizing, the pattern comes in size 4 to 22. The size that I cut was a size 18, or is a size 18, and the size 18 was the perfect fit, because if I had cut it any smaller, I would not have been able to pull them on, and if they were any bigger, they would have been way too big, and I would have just been trying to pull them up or trying to figure out a way to make them smaller, because I have the elastic that would have kept them up. But yeah, it would have just been a little bit more balloony than what they already look like. Now, here's the other issue that I consider major. Now, I still feel like my pants look good, but this is an issue for me. When you look at the pattern cover, the model is given like a semi-fitted look. Not too loose, but not too tight. My pants look more like joggers with a cuff. They're a lot looser than hers, but there's like no way that I could have fixed that up with the way that the sizing is, because it would have altered everything. It would have altered the length of the pants and everything. Not only do my pants look more like joggers with a cuff, but I feel like so does everyone else's that made this version that I saw on Instagram. And one of the women actually made a statement about the sizing. Now, don't get me wrong, and I know I've said this 3 times already. I love my pants. I think they look good. I don't have a problem with them. However, when you have your mind set on going for a certain type of look or a certain type of style, that's what the pattern cover is giving you. That's what you pay for. That's what you expect. And that's what I expected. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I even asked my husband if my pants look like the models, and he said, no, she made the slim version. Well, so did I. It just didn't turn out that way. Anyway, like I said, I was totally not expecting the pant to have a wider, baggier type of look. If I had planned for that, I would have been okay. But that was, just, it didn't happen that way. And that's why I had a couple of disappointments with the pattern itself. But if you know that it's going to turn out like this, you watch this review, hey, I do like that look, even though it doesn't look like the pattern, this is for you, okay? And just a little bit of a side note, when you're making pants, make sure that you measure your inseam, because I totally forgot to do that part of the pant making process, and mine hangs just a bit too low. I feel that if I alter the pant in that area, it would no longer be like wearable for me, because of how, like, when I tried doing that, I tried to test it out by pinning it, and it was just, yeah, it didn't go out so well. So I'm just gonna have to deal with it the way that it is. That's totally my fault. However, I don't think it looks like garbage. Like, I don't feel like it's junk wear, or that I only need to wear it around the house. I'm going to be everywhere in these pants, okay? So, the pattern pieces. I only had to use 5 pattern pieces to cut out. There is an elastic guide. I had to cut out the front, the back, the waistband, the cuff, and the pockets. And so it was not a whole lot of labor when it comes down to cutting out pattern pieces. The instructions were very easy to follow. What did I like about the pattern? I like that it was easy to make. I like the cuffs on the bottom, and I love the pleats. If I had used a solid color, I would love the top stitching, but you can't really see it in mine. What did I dislike about the pattern? The deception, okay? The deception of the patch pocket, what I thought was, okay? And how wide they came out versus how they are. I didn't learn any new techniques, but I did have a first time experience. This is the first time that I did add a cuff like this to pants. It was the first time I put pleats at the bottom like this. And I had an additional first time experience that I added to bump up this look on my own. I added piping in between the seams of my cuff and the pant leg. Now, I did it because of how Ankara prints are. It's sometimes hard to see the line work and seams of a pattern, so I decided to add the piping to showcase the seam in between the cuff and the pant, and I think it's a lovely touch. I don't think it's like super stand outish. Maybe I could have used a thicker or bigger piping, but I do think if you're looking at it, it really helps to differentiate the seam in between the pant and the cuff. So yes, I love that. The plan was to outline my patch pocket that I don't have as well with the piping, so that you can see that there is a pocket there. However, I don't have the patch pocket, and that's why it didn't turn out. I have always loved piping, but I never used it. And I was recently watching Fatmata's video. I was watching her video where she made this gorgeous dress and put piping in every seam. At least that's what it seemed like. And oh, I just thought it was such a glamorous and just stunning addition to the pattern. And since I had never tried it, I thought about her dress. I thought about how I've always liked it and the different things that I've seen it in. And I thought I would try it out in this small area in case it didn't work out or I didn't install it properly. And I love it. So stay tuned, because you will be getting more piping. It is an extra step, but you know, I've been sewing long enough to where I should bump up my makes, you know? So yes, that is the addition that I made. So for this fabric, I used 100% cotton Ankara fabric. I absolutely love this colorway. I love the prints. I just love every shade of green, so that is why I picked this out. I may purchase another 6-yard cut of this because the garment that I was going to make to match my pants is no longer going to work out because of how wide the pants are. I just don't think it'll come together. But I purchased this from Afrique clothing store. She's not on Etsy, but she has a website, so I'll put it in the screen and in the description box below. But the reason why I would purchase more is because I love the fabric and I love the print, and I would want to make like a whole nother design. Sorry if you're hearing my phone chirp off to the side. I thought I took it out of here. All right, so for the alterations or changes, the piping, I added the piping, and I added 1 inch to the waistband because I wanted it to be a bit wider, because it would have came out to be like a 1-inch waistband, but 1-inch waistbands usually find themselves in the dips of my little, rollies over here. I'm just being real. I'm not down talking myself. But, I have these things on the side when I bend, and when I have a 1-inch waistband, it just kind of bends with it. So I have this 2-inch waistband that is absolutely wonderful, turned out lovely, and I found this very, very, very strong elastic for the waistband at Walmart. And if I can remember, I'll put an image of it in the screen so that you can see the type. But when you make waistbands, you're always supposed to use no roll or non-roll elastic, because it's supposed to make sure that the elastic doesn't flip around in the casing and bend when you're bending versus the other flimsy elastic. But this is like the Cadillac of non-roll elastic. Matter of fact, yeah, I don't have, here it is right here. You can see it. So yeah, that was a win-win for me. Joann's here has changed their hours from closing at 9 p.m. till 7 p.m. So I didn't get out the house in time, which is how I ended up going to Walmart. Truly didn't think Walmart was going to come through for me, but they did. So I'm going to go back and buy all the rest of them because I usually don't have a large supply. I'm going to buy every last one of them that are there so I can have them in the future. So if I did have any recommendations or modifications, the only thing I would think of is just to change the pocket if you don't necessarily want the top stitching, and to measure your inseam. That's for any pant making. I just don't make pants that often. I don't even remember the last time I made a pair of pants. I was supposed to. I was slotted to. I had it in a monthly pants video, but never finished them. So just make sure you do that. Now, would I recommend this pattern to others? Yeah, as long as you are okay with the fullness of the pants versus a semi-fitted look that the pattern model is giving. So yeah, sure. The pattern reads well. It's not hard to follow, but you know, garment's just a little bit different. I'm just not used to this type of pant. I usually like wear the really wide leg or slim fit these days, other than like my mom jeans. But I will tell you, after wearing these pants for a bit of time, I got used to them really quick and I love them. As far as the availability of this pattern came out in 2021 and it is still available at your local Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and the Simplicity website. So I paired my pants with a black tee. I would have wore a turtleneck because it's cold here, but I don't know where it is, being truthful. My gold earrings, my gold necklace that I purchased from my Etsy store. I'll put her shop information in the description box below because for some reason I cannot recall what the name of the shop is. So now I will enter a few more pictures and twirls of me in my Ankara pants. Well, alright, so that is my first pair of Ankara pants ever. Like I said, I don't hate them, I love them, but I really wish I had gotten the look that the pattern was giving on the cover, because I feel like, I don't know, like I just got stuck in that and I didn't know how to really wear these pants at first. Like I said, I'm not really a pant wearer. I mostly wear dresses, skirts, and leggings. But I do want to incorporate more pants. The only reason why I'm not a pant wearer that much anymore is just because I didn't have any as I grew out of them, and then I just got used to not wearing them. But we're gonna build them up. That is why I had made that pant series that I never finished out. I'm going to pick it up where that left off. Alright, so please let me know what your thoughts are about this pattern and how you think it looks in general, and on me in the comment section below. You know I always love to hear your thoughts. Please make sure that you stop over to Sheree's channel to see her pants, because I saw her fabric and they are absolutely gorgeous. You gotta go and see it for yourself. I am going to go ahead and close out this video, but before you leave, you already know what I'm going to say. Please take a pause for the cause and click the like button and the subscribe button and the grow notification bell so that you can be notified of future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of my new and returning subscribers for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!